إن الحمد لله ونحمده ونستعينه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وخاتم الأنبياء وسيد المرسلين يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتون إلا وأنتم مسلمون. Dear brothers and sisters, of course we know that there is a very elongated dua that we recite at the beginning of the Khutbah, but because we're running behind, we're going to abbreviate our remarks. And I've set an alarm for myself so we can make sure that we are keeping you on time because, alhamdulillah, as we know, time is a haq. It's a right upon us. And we have to give time its right, and time gives us our right. So with that, I'm going to just reflect upon with you two stories. The first story is the story of Lut, alayhi salam. It's an important story because I think a lot of people may have forgotten this story. They may have forgotten that the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam was visited by two men. And these men were beautiful men. He had never seen them before, and they were strange to the community. And so he was somewhat apprehensive. But of course, as a prophet of Allah, he invited them into his house. And first of all, as you know, he provided for them the limited means that he had, a meal. And they would not eat the meal. So then that caused him to get apprehensive even more. And he began to worry. Who are these men? Are they coming to do me harm? Coming to do my wife harm? What's happened? And first they said, well, actually we have come with some news for you. The first news is Basar al-Wadi. You are going to be given a child. And he said, well, how can I have a child? Because my wife is barren and I'm old in age. How can that be? And Allah, as you know, is I was a wajal, and he said, and they said that kum fayakum. Allah says it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And we know the story of that particular incident. But then he said, we all have another point of news, and that is that we're coming with a warning, a nadira, for the people of Lut. And Lut, who is Lut? Lut was none other than a nephew of the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. As we know, there were two people out of all the time that the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam was given dawah in the land that he was in at first. There are only two people to accept this dawah. The first was his wife Sarah alayhi salam and also Lut alayhi salam, right? The two people. And so, of course, Lut was beloved to him, but he left Lut in a particular place, and Lut settled in a place called Sodom near Gomorrah. And so he was concerned. You're going to go and kill my nephew? He's there. He's a good man. He's a righteous man. He's a prophet of Allah. And they said, no, we are going to basically deliver the punishment to the people of Lut and spare him and his family members. And so Lut, as you know, did not have any sons. He only had daughters. And so his daughter met the men as they were coming into town, and because the men were beautiful, she was concerned that the men were going to be attacked. The people of Lut were famous for a few things. First of all, they were famous for basically robbing the people, right, while they were basically traversing the highway. Second of all, they were famous for basically, and it was the first time this has ever happened in the history of mankind, they were famous for actually having sex, men having sex with other men. And third of all, they were famous in doing this in the open. May Allah have mercy upon us and forgive us for this and protect us from it. And so she was concerned because she was, again, afraid that these men who were beautiful were going to naturally attract these people who were guilty of doing these things, and that they would basically be, taken out. And so she said, look, why don't you wait here? We're going to wait until night. I'm going to get my father. He's going to come and bring you to our home. And when that happened, Father brought them to the home, and he was like, look, we're going to protect you until you can get out of here, because or else you will be harmed. And so, unfortunately, the wife of Lut alayhi salam led on to the men of the town that they had guests in their home that would be desirous of the other men. And so they came barging to try to break down the doors of Lut alayhi salam and his whole family. And Lut was concerned, and he called out to Allah, save me and my guests from the attackers. And after Lut made that dua, the men explained to Lut, we are none other than the Rasulullah, we are messengers of Allah, we are from the angels, the Malaika, to render the punishment to these people for their abomination. So why don't you and your family leave and don't look back. And so, as you know, they left at night, but unfortunately the wife of Lut looked back. And she was kept in her place and sent as a reminder. It said that she was turned either into a pillar of salt or a pillar of granite. Allah's lesson knowers. And then the people of Lut, the punishment, what was the punishment? First of all, when Allah, sent a loud siren, something that you might have heard like kind of a bomb attack siren, but something greater than that. So vicious that it would penetrate the eardrums. And then it caused them to basically shake in their shoes. And then there were some other natural disasters that were happening at the same time. And finally, the last punishment that is really phenomenal, a punishment like none other that we've heard, it is that a meteor struck every last one of the people of Lut, and guess what the meteor had on it? Asma'ihim. It had their actual names. Can you imagine a piece of granite coming and striking you and stamping the name of yourself on that particular, on your body, right? The punishment was specifically meted for every last one of them. And so why is it that I'm bringing this up? Dear brothers and sisters, we are in a time in which the Muslims have forgotten this message that is a time proven message. Nobody debates, none of the scholars of the other deans, either the Yahud or the Nasara, will debate you on the authenticity of that, because it's also found in their books. But yet we as Muslims have somehow forgotten. And so we have now began to say, well, it's okay for people to be homosexuals. Not only is it okay, some people have said it's for people to be homosexuals, but it's okay for them to call themselves even Muslims. Then there are people who have recently argued that it's not only just okay for them to be homosexuals, but we as Muslims are required to stand up for them because they are oppressed. And because they are oppressed, we're oppressed, we have a brotherhood, so therefore we should basically be allies. They speak out for us. Oh, the Muslim ban, the homosexuals are coming out and say, oh, you shouldn't, kick the Muslims out, so therefore we're obligated to come and actually say, well, no, you have to go and hire the homosexuals. Again, not just hire the homosexuals, but you again right now, as you may know, I'm a lawyer and a law professor in constitutional law, scholar to some extent. The law right now, particularly Title VII of the 1968 Civil Rights Act, requires that you not discriminate against 5 classes. These classes are the classes of race, religion, national origin, color, and sex. And so, what the, gender and sex. And what the homosexuals and their lobby and their allies have now sought to do is to say, well, sex isn't just your biological sex, but the sex is who you prefer to have sex with. So we need to be protected. You have to protect me based upon my sexual inclination. And as you know, the other 4 of the categories right, are things that you're born with. They're biological. There's one category that you're not born with, and that is the category of your faith. That's something that you can choose. And we as Muslims have chosen to be Muslims. Some of us have been born in Muslim families, but ultimately the choice is made, right? And so they are arguing that, again, they're born with this so-called defect. Our argument to this, and again, you need to be clear about this, is that does Allah make any mistakes? La. There are no mistakes. And they will then try to present to you, oh, how about this biological anomaly here, and this biological anomaly there? Your response has to be, kun fayakun. This is none other than the manifestation of Allah as a lesson to us. But Allah made no mistake in terms of creating men. And we are created, again, with a very clear sexual so-called inclination. And moreover, is that if you have, again, a desire, right, that is not right, then we know how to combat it. We should not, as Muslims, be accommodating for people who are weak. What we have to be is strong for them. We have to show them the right. If we say it's okay for them to be, again, basically lost in their weakness, we do them wrong and we do ourselves wrong. And then, again, remember the lesson of Lut and his wife. If we, again, accommodate, like she accommodated the people of her time, not only will they be punished, but we will be punished. And this, again, is the haqq. The haqq cannot be abrogated. It cannot be twisted and muddied. And you have to give it to the people just like it. You know, you can't be, soft on it. You can't be wishy-washy on it. Because again, what distinguishes us from the non-Muslims? What distinguishes us from the people of Bani Israel? What distinguishes us is Amr bin Ma'ruf wa Anha al-Munkar. Enjoining what is right and standing up for what is wrong. The people have said, and because my time is gone, I'm going to pick that back up in the second part. كن كالحال وساق لي ولكم ويسر لكل مسلم ويغفره وإنه غفور رحيم. بسم الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. So, as we were saying, lastly, to summarize or to close out that last part, some will say to you, that we are forbidden from judging people. We're forbidden from judging. You shouldn't judge, brother. You shouldn't judge, sister. We can't judge. And what you should do is remind them again of that last ayah. The law has commanded us to enjoin, right? When you enjoin, the basis of enjoining is what? You have to make a judgment. Enjoin what? Between what is right and what is wrong. Again, that requires a judgment. That's a haqq upon us. You're commanded to. So again, people say, oh, you can't judge. Please give them that. Let them know that in fact that they're misunderstood. They have a misunderstanding. Not only that, Allah says that we have chosen you. That surah comes from, that ayah comes to another ayah. That we have chosen you as the best among mankind because you what? You enjoin what is right and forbid what is wrong. And then it comes back, Allah says that if you fail in that obligation that we have imposed upon you, what will happen? What? We will wipe you away and replace you with another people who will. These are the consequences that we have if we do what they want us to do, and that is to accommodate them, to assimilate to their ways, and to basically even adopt them. Now we do that. May Allah forbid from that. So, dear brothers and sisters, another story. This story is a pretty famous person who is somebody who many of us may have looked up to. And again, in this story, the person was accommodating. They were a political activists, and so therefore they were accommodating to these views. They were saying that it was okay. They were seeing at various rallies, right, that the homosexuals were having on their homosexual days. And then, as a result, again, similar to the story of the wife of Luke, the person, as a result, themselves found themselves in a compromising situation. They were married, right? And then, as a result, they engaged in some things that were definitely haram, and Allah knows best. And then it came out, and there and some pleadings that they were engaged in this activity. You know what I mean? Not only with a non-Muslim, right? But again, somebody that definitely we should question. And this is again a story that we need to be clear about. Because if you compromise on the values that Allah provides to you, especially on this, you can be guaranteed that other elements of your deen will be compromised. And will be compromised, and then what will you have left? So dear brothers and sisters, you're at Howard University, right? And you have all kinds of things. As I was walking up here, I was smelling people smoking, marijuana just right out here on the yard, you know what I mean? All kinds of things are happening at our university. So what are you? You are now the Sabiqun. You are the vanguard. It is your job. I was here before, 20 years ago. It's not my job anymore. It's your job to now bring the haqq to the people who are around you. And if you fail to do that, then you know what Allah has said could be your punch. So the question that I'm going to ask and leave for you is, what is your Islamic workout plan? What are you going to do now that both the Ayadan, both the Eid al-Adha, and Eid al-Fitr are gone? What are you going to do now? What's your game plan? Are you going to do something different? Does that mean you're going to wake up for Salat maybe and make Fajr on time? If you're already doing that, are you going to wake up earlier and make, some tahajjud? Are you going to read after Salat al-Fajr maybe one ayat or two ayat or one page? What is your game plan? Because you're out here. You're out here doing battle every single day. And if you don't prepare yourself to succeed, my father used to say, rahimahullah alayh, he used to say, if you don't prepare to succeed, you prepare to what? Prepare to fail. And we ask Allah to have mercy upon him and my mother, rahimahullah alayh, and to allow them, as well as the predecessors who came before us, to be elevated and to be benefited as a result of our good deeds. This is our time now, and with that time, I pray that each and every one of us upholds our responsibility. That we do not allow our brothers and our sisters to fall down because we have tried to compromise for what wrong they are doing. That instead, I pray that Allah fortifies you and allows you to be a beacon of light and hope. And none of us are perfect, but don't compromise at least on your desire to do what's right and to understand what is right and what's wrong. Don't compromise and say, oh, well, maybe that's right after all. Maybe wrong is right. Don't do that. If you have a problem with something, at least hate it in your heart. At least say, I know this is something I'm struggling with. Allah help me. And Allah says that if you make one step towards Him, He'll make 10 steps towards you. Don't give up, brothers and sisters. Don't fail on your mission. Don't. And always Again, as I said before, La tamutunna wa illa antum muslimun. None of us knows when our last day is going to arrive. None of us knows when a compromise that we make may be the last compromise we make, and Allah takes us away right after that compromise. Think about this. Alhamdulillah, wa astaghfirullah wa la ilaha wa atubu ilayh. Come to see.
Allah